The private sector partnership initiative was the foundation we laid in July 2019 at Enugu, which has crystallized into the various strategic actions we have taken to give vent to the promise we made at the beginning to restructure the orientation, the activities, the vision of this organization. As private doctors, we accept that we are medical businessmen. And we can't be medical businessmen and be thinking and operating like professors in the university or medical schools. And so that initiative started and has continued to thrive. Today, we have, as part of the product, what we're going to see in the course of this presentation. Then updates on treatment on emergency. On the 14th of February this year, the Honorable Minister for Health invited stakeholders, number one on the list being the ANPMP. And I'm happy to tell you that that is what it has become. We have been able to push, been able to emphasize, been able to demand, been able to put our voice strongly across that the health sector of this country is resting squarely on the shoulders of private practitioners. And you shouldn't have any project for Nigerians remembering us after dark. We have to be part of it from the policy making stage. We have made it clear to government and to every stakeholder, please do not go and formulate policies on healthcare and then reach out to us, beckon upon us to come for implementation. We have said we will not be willing to be part of such projects because we have everything in the house. We have the skill, we have the knowledge, we have the experience, we have the competence to drive the health system of this country, and we cannot therefore allow ourselves to come behind people we should be leading. And I'm happy that that request is being heeded. We therefore signed that MOU with the Honorable Minister, and what it means to us is that the 4-year-old effort to bring into operation the basic healthcare provisions fund made available by the Senate of this country 4 years ago to cater for state support health insurance and for the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, and the treatment for medical emergencies is beginning to crystallize. That was the first outing of the Federal Ministry of Health to begin that process of paying for medical emergencies. As you and I know, today as we speak, the law is strong on the fact that if you have an emergency, whether you are public sector or private sector, you are bound to accept that emergency. You are bound to treat that emergency. And if you fail, the minimum is 6 months imprisonment. The optional fine is 500,000 naira. It could be more. Unfortunately, the same law did not say who is going to pay your bill. But then, 4 years ago, this National Assembly, in its wisdom, decided to create the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund, which provided that a minimum of 1% of the consolidated revenue of the country should be ceded to health to further support the health budget, apparently making health budgeting a little more robust. 5% of the 1% should be for treatment, paying for treatment of emergencies. If that scheme had become functional, we would have long forgotten this problem of treating Nigerians restoring their lives, and then crying for your funds. We believe that with this first leg taken, it won't be long and the rest will follow. Welfare benefits for members. My dear colleagues, I had said a number of times before, and I do not think the idea has shifted. If we are looking at welfare for maybe children, we could be thinking of how to give biscuits, maybe chocolates, maybe bread, maybe Fanta. I have thought around me, when we talk about welfare for members, do we begin to share rice or begin to share money? How? From where? I think that the greatest welfare we can give to ourselves is to guarantee the sustainability, the expansion, the progress, the improvement, the protection, the advancement, the progress in our various practices. If any doctor in this country feels comfortable, feels safe, feels secure in the understanding that if anything should happen to him that is untoward, he belongs to an association that is powerful and strong and willing and able, sensitive and responsive to stand by him in the spirit of injury to one, injury to all. Nothing can be a better welfare to a group like this. I have said it before. Look at ants. You will not find an ant build an ant hill. A lion finding a stray buffalo will devour it. But I have seen on the wild television an angry and hungry lion eager to pounce on a buffalo. But there were other buffaloes around. Each time he tried to grab, of course, they always go for the jugular. Even lions know where the life is. Who taught them the anatomy? Each time he tried to make for the jugular, the other buffaloes will aggregate around, and it knows that it will need time to grab the jugular of that buffalo and hold it down for at least 5 minutes for it to die. And within those 5 minutes, it has to be safe itself. But seeing that the other buffaloes were not willing to go, the lion took off. That is the power of unity. And there is no greater welfare to such a buffalo. The point I'm trying to make, my dear colleagues, is that the maximum impact of our welfare to ourselves will only come by the numbers. We cannot reap except we have sown. I therefore enjoin us. Let us maximize our membership. Let us become like sermoners, like priests, like pastors. Go home, talk to your neighbor. There is great joy, great advantage, great pride in being part of us. When we come together in unity, there's nothing we cannot do. But the fewer we are, the less our potency, the less our energy. We have already told ourselves that one way to grow this membership is everybody sitting down here as a CEO, and 99.9% of the people here are CEOs. That is not our definition. That is the definition of the Guild of Medical Directors. If you have a doctor working with you, talk with him. If If you cannot convince your own doctor to believe in what you believe, then something may not be too well. I want to believe that at least 70% of us, if you truly believe in this association, it wouldn't take anything to persuade your younger colleagues to join you in going to where you believe the most. This is like another pilgrimage home. For doctors, we come here to renew ourselves, we come here to improve ourselves, we come here to advance ourselves, we come here to catch up with where the world is. Nothing can be better. If you register your one doctor, register your two doctors, register your three doctors, and we all register across the country, I have said here, it's not a prophecy, it is an arithmetical precision. 500% increase in one conference year. And in 3 years, a hall like this will not take our members. That way also will guarantee sustainability. Look round. Our average age now is 55, 54. It's not very encouraging. The World Organization of Family Doctors. There will be reports on this because the Wonka Eagle is on its way to Nigeria. It will land in a few months. More will be said on this. But just to tell us that we'll be hosting Africa in November, and here, Wonka Europe will be co-hosting the event with RCGP in London. And following here is RCGP. Wonka and RCGP are two international medical conferences many of us have been used to. I haven't missed one RCGP in 12 years. And I know the impact, I know the benefits, I know how I come back enriched. I know the contacts we make, and I know the exposure to the latest models of medical equipment, diagnostic equipment, laboratory facilities, and the leisure you get. Permit my little digression, but I have always said that if you leave Nigeria, first day you land, you lose 33% of the stress. By the second day, you lose 70%. By the third day, you harmonize with the system. You begin to build up peace, harmony. You begin to think more like a human. Because you begin to hear peaceful things, see peaceful things, see environmentally friendly systems. And the moment you think of coming back, the mere thought of it, you lose 10% of the new piece. And once you come out of the plane at Murtala Mohammed or Nnamdi Azikiwe, you are left with only 30%. By the next 73 hours, you are back to Nigeria. Permit that expression, but that's what it is for us. So each time you attend any of these conferences, you don't remain the same. Now here we are saying that we are better than we think we are. We are truly better and greater, and that is why our creed says it all. We are greater together. What can we not do together? Whom can we not stand together? What policy can we not drive together? What bill, policy can we not drive at national and state assemblies? But only a people can do it, not any man. Our greatest strength is in our numbers. That is why, please, let us emphasize and re-emphasize our togetherness, our cohesion, and the love between. We have seen how our name has been changed, and then the Abuja Secretariat Project. My dear colleagues, about 7 years ago, we began the journey to relocate our national secretariat from Lagos to Abuja. And our immediate ESCO, past ESCO, started this project. and we continued with it. That's why we say leadership is continuing. A laudable project that was largely misunderstood. It came with suspicion. People condemned. People spoke against it. Many wondered if it was a ruse. Some believed, some didn't believe. But I'm happy and thankful to Almighty God, standing before you this afternoon to let you know that by the grace of God, on Sunday the 20th of March 2020, as your president, working with your NOC and the entire FCT team, we commissioned that National Secretariat in Abuja. It is at a place called the Games Village, just by the road to the airport. Very fantastic environment, beautiful structure. It's on the hubs. What you see on the hubs is what it is. We're also happy to let you know that as we finish this meeting, our secretariat staff is resuming in Abuja. Recall also that in June last year, this ESCO bought the first official car of the association, a Sienna wagon, which is all over the place, as you have seen. We thank God for that, and we thank all of you, because without you, we couldn't have done any of this. It took members of this association to raise money again and again and again. It took friends and partners, doctors and non-doctors. Many are here, many are not here. But as we thank God, we thank all of you. We thank all of you. This is the power of our unity. It is not the strength of any man. So I appreciate all of you on behalf of the NOC for this secretariat, for the vehicle, for all that we did, and for all that the incoming ESCO will still do. Because what could any team do without the support of their people? The Institute for Research and Medical Entrepreneurship. Recall I had mentioned our retreat on the private sector partnership initiative. One of the things we have put in place is to develop or tinker with the possibility of developing an institute for research, which is a major part of the objectives of this great association long left behind. Sitting in this hall are professors. I just cited the Dean of Gynecology and Obstetrics, and the man you can refer to as the oracle of ultrasound sonography in this country. Osai is a junior. Osai is a very junior student. Professor Mariho is in the house. Professor Mariho, please, can you stand for recognition? Dr. Osai is a grandchild. Dr. Osai, please stand if you are here. He's a grandson. Fine, he's not here. Sir, you have in the house a vibrant grandson who is doing so well, blazing the trail in ultrasonography. He has become our professor in ultrasonography. He has taught the whole states teaching ultrasound medicine. He also wrote a book that is now in the second volume. Relationship with the NMA has been very robust. Faculty of Family Medicine already told us that they have restored our DFM. It's now registrable, another degree. But there's something still outstanding with the DFM. Recall that this same association, the ANPMP, created the idea, nurtured the idea, established the Faculty of Family Medicine as it is today in Nigeria. That faculty of the National Postgraduate College. And yet, as we speak, we are like landlords who brought in tenants, and tenants woke up overnight and chased out the landlord. Today, we are not even at the corridor. No ties, no links, no interests, no representation, no affiliation, except to refer to us in history as the founders. They teach us as one of the first topics in Diploma of Family Medicine that we are the founders of Faculty of Family Medicine. And it ends there. This ESCO has written and demanded that we have to get on board, be part owners and co-pilots of that faculty. We have demanded for 2 permanent seats on the board of the faculty. We are asking for our own interest in the affairs of that faculty, including the bills we pay for DFM, including a protocol list. If you have an event, graduation ceremony, whatever it is, what role is ANPMP going to play? Where do we belong? We are still working on that. And that was why I set up the committee of past presidents to pursue this, because they have the capacity, they have the know-how, they have the contact. I'm sure in the course of this meeting, a report will be given to us on how far they have gone. So the Institute is going to drive our research effort. It will also drive our training and capacity building at our level as practicing healthcare professionals, training everybody in the hospital, partnering with the Federal Ministry of Health. We want to take this to that point where if we have not trained your staff, you will not be registered as a clinic in this country. And every 3 years, you must show evidence of renewal. I have said it, beyond helping to build capacity in our country, beyond helping to revive and revamp the healthcare industry, this is the most significant means of stabilizing the economy of our dear association. NSAS. Recall the events of NSAS. A number of our colleagues came under fire, their facilities. We finally set up a committee because we waited to see what government was going to do. Unfortunately, all the commissions of inquiry had nothing to offer to these ones. Some of them had partial contact, partial carnage, and partial bruises, but one or two had their facilities brought down completely. Non-functional for over a year now. And so we set up a fundraising platform where the ANPMP has put in 1 million naira, and we have appealed to colleagues. Don't just see that call, that clarion call, and look away. It may look not too serious, but imagine you were the one. Imagine you were involved. What will you expect your colleagues to do? In the same spirit of injury to one, injury to all, please, that platform is still open. We are going to close it after this evening. In fact, before the AGM, before the dinner, because at dinner time, we want to know how much we have raised, and then we'll identify the number of people involved. A committee has been set up to appropriate the fund that has come in. Please, we still have time. Between now and then, thank God for electronic era, technology. As we are sitting here, you can go to the hub, identify the number, the account details, transfer 1 naira, 2 naira, 5 naira, 10 naira, 1,000, 10,000, 20,000. A colleague who is about giving hope can be restored back to life just by the little effort that you have made. We have also seen the Private Doctors Foundation as part of the drive to truly move this association the way we should be, showing relevance and significance on the health sector, partnering with organizations locally and internationally. We've come to find out that as an association, some groups will be reluctant to deal with us. They would rather choose to deal with an NGO. And that's how this ESCO established the Nigerian Private Doctors Foundation, the Pre-Doc Foundation, as a working tool to support the objectives of the private doctor. Then the Cooperative and Tariff Society has also been set up. We have today an 11-man trustee, but it's not just an association or a society. It is a wealth creation strategy, a phenomenon, an ideology, a concept we should all buy into. I can imagine every private doctor connecting into this. We all heard it during the conference yesterday. If we all connect into it, paying as little as 20,000 naira every month, 20, 50, 100, 200, 500, depending on your capacity. In 3 years, I'm not saying 5. If in 5 years, you choose to make it 5 years, we will have at least 15 billion. Like a joke. That is what we make this organization. With such a cooperative, you can walk into any bank in this country and demand anything on behalf of your members. No bank will say no. They would rather bribe you to be their partner. With such an organization, we can sit down here and import 20 containers of medications, consumables, and as an association, the Federal Ministry of Health will willingly give you an endorsement. Customs and Excise will endorse you. Whatever it is, those containers will come in, no duties. With that, we can bring down the cost of the things we use to less than 30% what we are paying today. A cooperative will do this and more. We are restoring health, restoring life, restoring agility, restoring opportunities, privileges, and possibilities to the ANPMP. Please join this move and let us restore dignity to our future. My dear colleagues, I have what I have entitled here, my scorecard, but not my scorecard. It is our achievements. It is our achievements. For want of time, I may not go into all that because we know what we have for today. But suffice it to say that we have seen the private sector partnership initiative, the mother of all the accomplishments. The institute we instituted the encounter. Today, we go to any city, any state. We no longer sneak in and sneak out. We move around. We engage our colleagues. We encounter our people, big and small. We learn from them and they learn from us. We introduce the concept of the national body supporting states. If you recall, Bayelsa, Lagos, even Oyo, we are owing Oyo 1 million naira as the ANPMP national support for this event. That is part of the benefits that we have introduced to encourage them like a take-off grant. It's not a loan, it is a grant. The senior citizens that are in our midst, once you are 70 and above, we no longer see you as an ordinary member. You are a senior citizen. And any of you who is in our midst today, who has not been decorated by Mr. President at the dinner event tonight, you will be honored with a medal of honor to appreciate you for the great service you have rendered to your country. You all saw it last night when the lady who was introduced to us as a 1971 product of UCH Ibadan. She came in, walked in, sold out, limped in pain towards the podium, but hearing the music in the background, she couldn't resist what she knew best. You saw her gyrating, almost on one leg, to that beautiful tune that this ESCO created for the association, out of which we also established the creed. That creed is spiritual. It is a connect to the reality of what we are to our own country. Please, we already saw the first vehicle. Now, the National Secretariat. We have various MOUs with Conga, with MEDSAF, with NEMSAS. NEMSAS is the National Association, National Emergency Medical Services and Ambulance Systems. I have an MOU with them. MOU with Eagle Search. By the end of today, we are signing an MOU with ASPON. We are anticipating another MOU with the Federal Ministry of Health, the NUC, the MDCN, because part of the objectives of the Institute of Research and Entrepreneurship is for us to reactivate the concept of training medical students on entrepreneurship. We want to move in from the 4th year, 5th year, final year, having brought this into the curriculum, teach our young medical students how not just to become doctors, knowing how to save life, knowing how to treat malaria, knowing how to treat typhoid, but how do I survive? Men are what they know. It is the idea you carry that makes you what you are. When there are no ideas, there is no direction. 9 out of 10 young doctors today want to leave the country. They don't believe there's any hope back home. But if they had a different idea, and that is why even at the last NMA Health Summit, ANPMP moved, and we will continue to move it, that we should restore the era of mentorship and apprenticeship into medicine. Dr. Oga is here, our past president, now BOT, long-standing BOT member. He is a vibrant, well-renowned urologist. If a young doctor should join him and have him shadowed by him, mentored by him, and he undergoes professional apprenticeship for 5 years, for example, and the man in charge endorses a document to say, I have overseen this man's conduct, I find him competent, I find him knowledgeable, I can trust his judgment in urological procedures, limited of course. Such a man should be accepted in our own country, where some men, millions of men have died today in this country because they have no access to those who have been apparently set out to do the job. Look at WHO in its own wisdom. They came out to third world countries to teach even patent medicine sellers testing and treatment of malaria because of the death of healthcare workers. So why must we continue to move like we are Americans or Britons when we are Nigerians in a highly deprived and limited economic and social environment? We have listed so much of what the little that God has allowed us do through your help. We have seen the national minimum tariff, the Faculty of Medicine struggle, the car, the change of name, the pre-doc, and all that. Please go through. I will allow you at your time. But at the end of the day, my dear colleagues, distinguished members of this great association, I want to conclude by telling us that this association has come a long way. 100 years after, we are making a new beginning. We are laying a new foundation. We are taking a new tangent to a fresh destination. And therefore I say to us, in conclusion, every sun that rises soon sets. Every story eventually ends. Nothing is forever. Everything in life is for a while. I have been on the journey of shaping and supporting our dear association for the past 4 years. It has indeed been a great and challenging journey, and like all other journeys, it is headed to a close. We are a great people. We have a great future. Our collective strength is greater than our individual capabilities. The healthcare system of our country looks up to us, and we have all that it takes to stand up to it and for it. 100 years have rolled past, and nothing in that content can change. The journey into the new millennium has begun. We cannot go back to our past, and we cannot change the experience of that past, but the impressions of that past can be nurtured by what we do today. Be part of this new generation of private doctors who will be remembered for lowering their shoulders to give the second millennium of their journey in history the measure of its stature. Let us aim to be participants and not observers, and much less fault diggers. There is work for everybody. Lamenting and complaining and criticizing without showing the example only does more harm. I thank my NOC, especially my VP1, Dr. K. Adesola, who showed deep knowledge of the association's capacity and eminently represented the association at all levels of duty in developing the architecture of the new template for the future gains of this great association. I greet the Treasurer, Honorable Dr. Otamiri Aibogu, who was immeasurably effective, the IPSG, the Dr. Asunakpo, who stood in the gap strongly. Our Wonka representation was ably handled by the Wonka liaison officer, Dr. Mrs. Oluwaseun Olusola. My IPP was ever there for us and provided the cover for many of our operations. I thank all of them, for it could only have taken a functional team to have come this far. It was inspiring working with you. I thank the NEC members from the states for their understanding. To all you distinguished colleagues, you remain the heroes and heroine of the Nigerian healthcare system. We are a team. We as a team could have done nothing without you. There is always more that can be done, but your collective moral and financial support remains immeasurable. You have my unquantifiable gratitude. I thank my admin officer, Mr. Olubankole, and others in the admin office. They were a wonderful support team. I cannot thank the spouses support group, ably led by Mrs. Doris Odo, my wife, for their uncommon solidarity. They stood by us side by side all the way. My thanks to our friends, partners, and collaborators. As I step down in a few minutes as president, I pray for God's grace on our association for a new passion in the leadership and followership, that whatever good jobs we have done, you will do more. I thank you all, my colleagues, for the opportunity given to me and my ESCO to serve you. Thank you, and God bless Nigeria. God bless the ANPMP. Thank you.